Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Minimalist Gourmet, where today I'll be teaching you how to make coconut shrimp and a homemade sweet chili dipping sauce. These things are absolutely delicious, really quick and easy to make, and a whole lot cheaper than ordering them at a restaurant. So let's get started. For our sweet chili sauce, we're going to need some mild red chilies, as you can see here. These are going to add a lot of flavor but no heat. So use what you have available. They don't have to be spicy whatsoever. For our spice, we're going to actually be using some Thai chiles, and you can use anywhere between none and five if you'd like. This will bring all the heat to the dish. Additionally, we'll be using garlic. I have got 4 cloves here. You can use up to 8 if you'd like. We need to peel our garlic cloves and then dice them into a very fine mince. I have found that this recipe goes really quick and easy if you have a food processor. I don't have one in my house, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this by hand. It doesn't really make a big difference. For our chilies, we cut off the stem end here and then run your knife down the center to split them in half and then cut those halves into halves themselves, making quarters. I find this the easiest way to get a nice fine dice on the chiles. Pro tip, if you guys would like to reduce the heat of this, but keep all the flavor, what you want to do is remove this center white part and the seeds. Simply take your knife, scrape out the white center and the seeds, and you'll be left with your chili flesh, which will give you all the flavor with a substantially smaller hit of heat. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning at this point. I was quite tired and really was trying to hurry up and finish filming this. That is a very bad combination to have in the kitchen, and that's why I had myself a little bit of an accident here. And trust me, guys, you do not want to try to cut off the tip of your finger with a knife that is covered in chiles. Also, all the pharmacies were closed, so there were no gloves for me to go out and purchase. Thankfully, I was able to fashion a band-aid and a piece of saran wrap to help cover me. But hey, guys, learn from my mistakes and don't do as I did. Process up your small, spicy Thai chilies here, just as you did the other ones, dicing them very fine and adding them into a medium-sized pot. We have our medium pot here with all of our chilies and our garlic that we're going to build our sauce from. To this, we're going to add 1 cup of granulated white sugar, 1/3 of a cup cool drinking water, 3/4 of a cup white vinegar, and about a teaspoon and a half of salt. We're going to put this all into our pot over medium heat and begin to stir together. You like my spatula? That's an Airbnb special we have going on here, huh? Cook this over medium heat for about 15, maybe 20 minutes until your chilies are nice and soft and you reduce the liquid down here by a little bit. And make sure you have a window open or a fan going because this is a little bit like pepper spray. You don't want it right in your face. Once your liquid's reduced down like this, you know it's time to thicken up. I've mixed 1 tablespoon of cornstarch into 2 tablespoons of water, and I'm going to go ahead and stir that in. Remember that you need to bring this back up to a simmer in order for your slurry to thicken. Now, I've only used 1 tablespoon of cornstarch because I like my sauce actually a little thin. I don't think it's meant to be extremely thick. However, if you do like it thicker, go ahead and add more cornstarch to your slurry. Don't forget that it will thicken slightly as it cools, but this looks good to me. I'm going to go ahead and take this off the heat and transfer it into a bowl and let it sit as I prep up the rest of my shrimp. In a container with a tight fitting lid, this will keep in the fridge for about 3 to 4 weeks, so definitely enjoy it. We need to prep up our shrimp. As you can see, I've purchased whole shrimp here, so we need to take off the head, the shell, butterfly them open, and devein them. But don't worry, I'm going to show you how to do this step by step. First thing we need to do is grab this shrimp here with the body in the right hand and the head in the left hand, twisting in opposite directions and pulling out. Make sure to save the head and the shells for later. They make a great seafood stock. Now, in order to get the shell off of the rest of the body, simply take your thumb, press it right into where the feet connect to the body on the bottom side, and peel around. This is very simple to do, and the shells come off rather easily. Also, it's a very good indicator that you've removed enough of the shell that we can cook them once all the legs have been removed from the shell all the way down to the tail. So just keep peeling around until all the legs have come off and you're left with a shrimp that looks like this and just has a tail on. Next, we want to butterfly them by taking a very sharp knife and running it down the back through the spine until you're about 3/4 of the way through, but do not cut all the way through. That will open up the shrimp just like this, allowing us to remove this vein. It's called the vein, but that's not a vein. That's actually their GI tract. Do not save this. Throw that in the garbage. It's gross. And here you're left with one shrimp that's butterflied perfectly and still has a tail on. And I've rinsed these under cool water as well just to clean off anything that might be sticking to them. Place them on a plate and set them aside while we build our dredging station. I have a classic three-stage dredging system here, which I have flour in the first bowl, egg in the second, and some panko in the third bowl. I'm going to begin by seasoning everything, including the shrimp, flour, egg, and panko, with a little bit of salt as well as some ground black pepper. You absolutely need to make sure that everything is seasoned throughout so you don't have under-seasoned food when you go to eat it, because that's no good for anybody. You can absolutely add in some garlic, paprika, spices, anything you'd like. I have 1/2 cup of panko breadcrumbs here, which I'm going to add 1/2 cup of shredded coconut to. You can add sweetened or unsweetened, it depends on you, but that's where the coconut portion of our coconut fried shrimp comes from. Now, once you've added it, you need to make sure to mix your panko and coconut really well, your flour really well, and make sure to beat your egg station here in the dredge very well. If you've ever made fried chicken before, these next steps will definitely look familiar to you. We're going to pick up each of the shrimp by their tail, which works as a fantastic little handle. And first things first, we're going to dredge it in our flour mixture, shaking off any excess that sticks. Next, we're going to go ahead and dredge it in our egg, once again, shaking off any excess, and then placing it into our third station to coat it completely with our coconut and panko. I like to toss it here gently at first to coat the surface, and then really make sure to pack it in here, not being too aggressive because shrimp are not that strong. We want to go ahead and make sure that all the surface is completely covered and you shouldn't see any bald spots. As you guys know, the only bald spot allowed in this kitchen is on my head. After you've breaded all your shrimp, you want to let them sit on a plate at room temperature for about 10 minutes. This will give a chance for the coating to set completely and will help prevent it from sloughing off when we put it into the oil. And speaking of oil, we want to go ahead and heat up about an inch of oil over medium heat until it reaches about 350 degrees. With our oil up to temperature, we're going to place our shrimp into the oil away from us and very gently. Now I'm cooking 8 shrimp today, so I'll do 2 batches of 4. These only need to cook for about 2 to 3 minutes, so don't worry about doing 2 batches. They take such a little amount of time, you don't need to worry. Place the shrimp into the oil and allow them to cook for about 90 seconds or so on this first side. Now make sure to move them around so they don't stick. However, if you do need to go ahead and give them a flip halfway through cooking, go ahead and do that to make sure that they cook evenly on all sides. Like I said, guys, these really do cook quickly, so don't walk away. You're talking 2 to 3 minutes max. Once they have reached this golden brown and delicious state, you want to go ahead and pull them out of the oil, let them drip dry for just a second here before placing them into a bowl or a plate that is lined with paper towels to absorb the extra oil. All there is left to do now is place them onto a plate with a nice generous serving of your sweet chili sauce. And guys, it really is just that easy to make this delicious dish at home tonight. It's faster, cheaper, and tastes a whole lot better than going out to a restaurant, and you can absolutely do this at home. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. I do appreciate your time today, and I really hope to see you all again here real soon on the next episode of Minimalist Gourmet.